What's up, guys? Welcome back to Unbreakable Grind. It's your guy CJ back with another video. All right, I this morning was watching some Jordan Peterson just while I was doing some of my work, man, and he hit on some stuff that was that hit very close to home with me. Some of these ideas helped me become are the core as to why I'm successful and why I will remain successful. And I think this can be helpful. I know this can be helpful to a lot of you guys out there. Okay, a lot of you out there doing the work right now. And I like to make sure that I'm keeping you guys up to date with a lot of the different motivations and a lot of different ideas that I truly live by. All right. So I want to kind of jump right into there. See what we got to say. It's not even a long clip.
About. I have done my best to do what Dostoevsky does in his novels, which is I make a proposition and then I spend months or years trying to figure out if I can take the bloody thing apart. If there's something wrong with it, because I want to find out. I want to hit it with a hammer and see if it breaks. And what I've been trying to do is to tell you all the things that I've gathered, let's say, or laid out or articulated or discovered over the last 30 years that I have not been able to break with the biggest hammer that I could take to them. And I guess that's the fundamental one, is that I believe that the
And just that quick, man, I have such a simplicity in my life, and it's always existed. I had this mental simplicity in life that I've always felt. No matter what chaos I've ever been a part of, I had this level of simplicity that always came with life. You know what I'm saying? And as an adult, it just feels very, blissful, if you will. And I'm going to get into this a little more, but, I had to really understand. I would always think back as to why do things feel so simple? Why do I always get the results I desire? Like this is something I actually think about, because I always get the results I desire. Like I haven't not gotten the results I desire in anything yet. You know what I'm saying? And some people might say that's because you're shooting too low, and I don't think so. What I realized is there's a distinct difference between if there's one distinct way I think differently than most people I come into contact with. And that difference is that everything that I've ever believed, or everything that I believe today, I only try to break what I believe. I've always been this way. I never really saw the significance in it large scale, but anything I've ever been told, anything I've ever believed, anything I've ever tried, I only cared about where it fails. I only try to break it. I spend most of my time trying to break it. I remember one time I was building a business with someone, right? I was working on a business, and we were building out the business plan, and I kept bringing up, I kept trying to solve where it fails at. I was like, nah, but what if we don't make this much? And what if we don't do this? And it almost sounded like I was pessimistic. But come to find out, what I realized, and this is a powerful thing that I've come to find out is a strategy used in very complex, used by like even engineers in complex situations, right? This is before I even knew what engineer was. I just knew that I wanted to solve for the fail cases. But come to find out, that's what we do as engineers also. And I didn't even notice when I built this ideology. So I walk around with this tool set where I just continuously try to break things apart. Even in that business scenario, I was just trying to break it apart. Everything, our business strategy, I was trying to break it. Our projections, I was trying to break them. Our product, I was trying to break it. I was trying to figure out why it wouldn't work, why it wouldn't sell. That's all I ever cared about. And even my core beliefs as a human being, I'm thinking, where do those fall short? And the thing that I pride myself on is as soon as I find something that I can break, I feel that with something that I cannot break. As soon as I can break it, I don't really have an emotional attachment to anything I believe. I only care about filling those gaps with things that I cannot break. And the byproduct of that is the unintended, well, I guess it is the intended byproduct, but the byproduct of that was pure, always getting what I desired out of things. I mean, the byproduct of that is literally I always get what I desire. My life isn't, I hit every goal that I try to hit because I focus on why I won't hit them. I only saw what will stop me from hitting them. All right? I don't care about the things that are going to help me as much as I care about the things that will prevent me from hitting my goals. You know, so I always think about how to eliminate something that's preventing me from hitting my goals more so than how to add something else to get to my goals. And, you know, and I think I know that gave me extreme advantage, you know, because now I walk around and everything I believe is very, very hard to destroy. It used to be when I first started, like everything was a shallow thought, right? I just got my beliefs. My beliefs weren't mine, right? I got them from my parents. I got them from my grandparents. I got them from people I met, you know, at school. And that's normal for anybody. But as I started to break them apart and, you know, I pretty much, everything was shallow at first, right? Like nothing I believed had any depth. But as I broke it apart, and built it back together, kept building it, it became more and more indestructible. And at this point, it's very, very hard to break or destroy any thought I believe. Like everything I believe now is very, very solid. It works. There's pretty much no speculation in most of the things that I believe now. Everything I believe performs as I expect it to. All right. And that's a very important thing. A lot of us are believing things that we don't understand. This is a big deal. It is very hard to be successful when you don't understand. All right. And the best way to get to understanding is to just break things apart. And how do you do that? I think the best strategy you can use when it comes to breaking down a complex problem is to use proof by contradiction. And all that simply means is look for the areas in which the things you believe fail. And then accept that it fails. See, don't trick yourself that it's not failing. Once you understand that what you believe failed in that case, then try to understand a way to fill that with something that does not fail. And as you do this over and over and over and iterate this process, you'll gravitate towards a solution that's unbreakable. All right. Hence the unbreakable and unbreakable grind. No, I'm kidding. But dead serious. That's where you will go with that. And let's do the second part of this video and we'll wrap it up.
The idea that lurks in these images derived from very different cultures. It's the same idea. Life is suffering. Right. Indisputable. What do you do about that? You voluntarily accept it and then strive to overcome the suffering that's a consequence of that. And you do that for you, and you do that in a way that makes it better for other people. And then that works.
Yeah, that's a very, very powerful statement there, man. So the thing is after you build that core understanding, that core belief system that you cannot destroy, right? After you break that down, then it's kind of, I took this natural progression also. It's kind of like he jumped from, okay, I break down my thoughts and I try to destroy those. I try to figure out, I try to figure out where my ideas fail. But after that, then you have this kind of large approach where you look and you say, you know what? Let me analyze all the different belief systems that exist. And what you start to see, especially in the religious space and stuff like that, you start to see like common themes. You know what I'm saying? And one undeniable theme is that life is pretty much difficult. All right. You can take any, religious teaching that you want, and you can see all the challenges, and you can see that life clearly comes with strife. All right. So with that being said, I kind of had this fascinating epiphany when it came to life. And that's kind of that you're going to always have some level of suffering. And I noticed this because, like, even if you're working out, right, in order to get in shape, let's take me, for instance. I work out all the time. I work out, but I'm literally suffering. Like, I'm bringing pain to my body just to grow. But the crazy part is, if I didn't go to the gym, I'm still going to suffer, because I'm going to deteriorate. So either way, I'm suffering. So then knowing that I'm suffering regardless, you then have to say, you know what? Since the suffering is inevitable, I might as well accept that it is and choose the suffering that leads me to where I want to go. And I can do that understanding that I'm doing it for the embetterment of myself, but not only me, but for others. And you know, and that's kind of the conclusion I came to, man. So the first thing is, don't walk around with beliefs, right? Don't walk around with beliefs that you haven't broken apart and that are shallow, right? Because once things get tough, they won't hold up. You won't be getting the results you want in your life because you're walking around with shallow beliefs that don't hold and don't support you through the high turbulence in life. So you have to break those apart. You have to break those beliefs apart before life breaks them apart. The worst thing you can do is let life break your beliefs apart before life break them apart and you didn't know that they were shallow beliefs, fragile beliefs. So it's better that you break those apart. And then going forward into that, man, like his segue there, you know, it's just good to understand that life is going to have suffering regardless. All right. Everything desirable. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to making my bloodline have better outcomes. I'm freaking suffering. It doesn't feel necessarily good, but I'm choosing to suffer because if I didn't do it, then we'll still suffer because my bloodline won't have what they need. So it's like inevitable. It's suffering regardless, right? Like I can stay up and suffer intentionally for the outcome of my bloodlines prospering, or I could just say, you know what? I can be passive, but then we're going to inevitably suffer because we won't have the things we need. And that's just the situation, you know? So anyway, man, I hope that's useful to somebody. This was something that came and I saw it unintentionally, and I just wanted to talk about it because it's something that's very important. I've used it all the time, and it's really, really changed my outcomes, man. So with that being said, if you like this content, hit that like button, subscribe, notification if you want those videos immediately. I promise to keep the heat coming, guys. Peace.